Barigalust! Welcome to the AWWA Armenian Voices, where Armenian stories live, breathe, and are passed on. In each episode, you'll hear real Armenian voices sharing personal stories about culture, family, and identity. Stories that help us stay connected to who we are and where we come from. This week's stories are all about the power of love. We hope you enjoy this episode, brought to you by the Armenian Women's Welfare Association, AWWA, where our mission since 1915 has been to honor, uplift, and care for our elders, advocate for their voices, and honor Armenian heritage.
My name is Susanna Semerdzhyan. I was born in Armenia, but my family moved to the United States, to Los Angeles, when I was 2 years old. I've lived here in LA for most of my life, except for 2 years when I lived in France. Growing up as an Armenian-American in the United States, I would say that I mostly struggled with my identity when I was a teenager and a young adult, and I didn't start to feel comfortable in my own skin until I was probably like 29, 30, and I started feeling more comfortable in my 30s when I became a mother. I really did struggle with my identity. I was labeled as Americanized by a lot of Armenians because I spoke more English than Armenian, and then I would listen to like music in English, or I would watch TV shows like Boy Meets World, Sister, and so I was constantly like bombarded with like speak Armenian or listen to Armenian music, and I felt very frustrated with that because I felt like I didn't really control the language I was speaking, and I also felt frustrated because I would like compare myself to Armenians who grew up in Armenia and like thinking like my Armenian wasn't as good as theirs. Like I didn't know certain vocabulary that they knew. Like I didn't go to school in Armenia, so like I didn't know words like geography or like algebra, history. Those were not things that I knew, and I also didn't know how to read and write in Armenian. I knew like a few letters that I had learned in elementary school. But besides that, like I didn't really know how to read and how to write in Armenian, and I felt like I wasn't Armenian enough, and I was being labeled as not being Armenian enough because of those factors. And then, but I was also like judged by like other communities. Like people saw me as Armenian, like, before even knowing me, they were like, see me as like only Armenian. I remember one time I was trying to get a job at Rite Aid, and the manager like really bluntly told me, "Oh, I don't think like your parents would let you work here because you're Armenian." And so like I've always felt like in the Armenian community, I was too Americanized. And then like in the outside community, they only saw me as Armenian, whereas I was, both. And I did struggle with some aspects of the Armenian community. Like I didn't really like the gender norms, like, certain things where like there would be a lot of double standards, like for women, like, oh, everything is amota and you can't do this because you're a women don't do this, or you're expected to do certain things because you're an Armenian woman. So I didn't really, and I still don't like that aspect of the culture. So I've always struggled with that. But I guess like when I became a mother, I started really seeing not only like those negative experiences that I had, and I started like really feeling comfortable about being both, and I really embraced these identities that I have, and not letting other people define who I am, and just being proud of being bicultural and bilingual. And for me, like like I became a mother, and this became really important for me to like preserve the culture, because I thought like, hey, like I'd always taken this the fact that I am bilingual as granted. I thought it was just kind of like something, on the side, like whatever. It's not, I didn't really see it as like something beautiful and unique about myself. And so becoming a mother, I wanted to, make my children feel proud of like knowing Armenian, like helping them feel proud that they know more than one language, and that they are growing up in two different cultures, and that they that's a really beautiful thing, because it helps you see the world differently. I really love that Armenian phrase, like "Ich kan lezu gides et kan martes." Like I feel like that really captures, the beauty in knowing different languages. And so I think it's really important to preserve that in my family. And so like as I've gotten older, I've really embraced that part of my identity, and started like I guess when in my teenage years I was seeing a lot of like negative aspects of being Armenian American, but as I've gone older, like I've seen like all the beauty in being Armenian. Like one thing I guess I took for granted, and that right now I really just value and appreciate so much, is this family bond. I love like that in my family we talk to each other every day. I talk to my sisters every day, talk to my dad every day, talk to my mom every day, and we visit each other all the time. And even like if we're together and we're doing nothing, we're still together and like enjoying a cup of coffee and just talking. And I really love that a family bond that exists in the Armenian culture. And I really love this community-based culture where we don't like just only look out for ourselves, we look out for the community, and how generous we are. Like I remember like my mom like would always like save up money to buy gifts for family members all over the world, and that's something that I really value in our culture. I love this community-based culture, and like something that I really love is the food. I feel like it's even like the way that we set up a table, it's for everybody. It's not just for each individual sitting, but it's like everybody can share the food, and I try to pass that down to my children as well. And really, I love the language too. I think it's such a beautiful language, and when I was growing up, I didn't really like understand how unique the language was, and has a different alphabet. It's really beautiful. So I really started just embracing all those aspects of the culture. And I mean, when I think about an Armenian elder, the person that comes to my mind is my dad. He sacrificed a lot for us. I remember when I was growing up that he would go to work, and then in the evening he would take ESL classes, and we have like this picture of him. He's standing in front of the class and writing on the board, and it's really just seeing like the effort that he put into building a future for us over here. And now I'm an ESL instructor myself, teaching to people like him. And my dad really just the memories I have of him are just so beautiful. And till this day, he still does all this. Like he'll go and buy us Armenian bread and Armenian dessert. And during Christmas time, he'll make Armenian desserts for us as well. And sometimes he likes making us this potato and egg omelet that, like, if we ask for it, he'll always make it for us. And he loves de-seeding pomegranates for us. And even when he's tired and like we ask him, he'll never say no to us. Like if I ask my dad to do that for me, the next day it'll be ready. And, I have really great memories of my dad of really supporting my dreams and trying to help me grow as a young adult, like helping me open a bank account, driving me to my dorm. A few times he would like drive me back and forth from LA to Santa Barbara. And just, he's the perfect example of a father.
Thank you for listening to our podcast today. We hope today's episode offered insight into the Armenian experience. To explore more resources or make a donation to help further our mission, please visit www.awwainc.org. That's www.awwainc.org. Your support makes a lasting difference.